Mercy raised her hand and gently placed it on Michael's shoulder. The warmth between them simmered just beneath the surface. Their lips were locked in a deep kiss, one that came naturally to them now, never lacking in intensity. The ceiling fan spun lazily above them, its rhythmic hum adding a steady undertone to the tension building in the room. A thin curtain by the window fluttered gently as the evening breeze slipped inside, sending a cool whisper across Mercy's exposed shoulder. Mercy pulled back slightly, breath shallow, voice a soft whisper. "Take it off." Michael didn't hesitate. His lips curled into a grin, and he leaned in closer, brushing her cheek with his own as his hands found the hem of her white t-shirt. He slid his fingers underneath, then peeled it off in one quick motion. The sight of her in the pink lace bra made his throat tighten. Sweaty and inviting, the two fleshy apples were almost pushing out of the cups as they stared back at Michael. The white t-shirt, once clinging to her form, dropped silently to the tiled floor beside the bed. It lay there like an unspoken agreement. She took his hands in hers and guided them upward, pressing them onto her chest with quiet urgency. "Hard, please." Michael looked into her eyes briefly before nodding, then got to work. He cupped her breasts with both hands and began to squeeze gently, gradually increasing the pressure. Mercy let out a small breath, her lips parted slightly as her body responded to his touch. Pushing the two cups aside a little to expose the peak of her breasts, his fingers moved with deliberate rhythm, teasing, circling, pushing inward, then up toward the hardened tips. The sounds of her soft moans blended with the music playing just loud enough to shield them from the outside world. The song's beat seemed to rise and fall in sync with their breathing. Then his lips left hers. He traced a warm path down to her chest, his tongue flicking playfully at her skin before settling over one of the tips. With his tongue now, Michael traced slow, deliberate circle round the tips, intermittently sucking on it. Lost in pleasure, Mercy's back arched subtly, a loud moan escaping her throat. Her veins shut up as she gently dropped her head backwards. "Don't stop, please," she whispered. Michael's hand trailed down her waist, fingertips searching lower. He began to slide his hand up her thigh, but then Mercy reached down and held his wrist. "Wait, please." Michael paused mid-motion. A hesitation hung thick in the room. Even if Mercy were to storm out of the house in frustration, her mom wouldn't necessarily stop her. At 20, approaching 21, her mother had begun to offer her the respect and freedom that came with age. But somehow, that freedom, though well-earned, often made her nervous. It meant more responsibility, more decisions. And this early afternoon, the decision was about a tutor. "I don't want any private tutor, Mom. It's a waste of time and money," Mercy called out from inside her room. The door was slightly ajar, and Mrs. Eno stood in front of it, her arms crossed, her expression firm. The hallway light spilled into Mercy's room, casting soft shadows on the wall. "Then show me that you've improved in math, and I'll reconsider," her mother replied, stepping in slowly. Mercy, seated cross-legged on her large bed, scowled. Her yellow throw pillow rested against her back as she adjusted slightly, the mattress shifting under her. "Why do you think I need one now?" she asked. Mrs. Eno walked in, her voice calm but sharp as a well-honed blade. "You're terrible at math, Mercy, and I don't blame you for that. If your father had prioritized his family over other women, maybe you wouldn't be struggling so much now." Mercy's tone was dry. "Mum, I don't know how you keep managing to drag Dad into everything." As Mrs. Eno sat beside her, the edge of the bed dipped slightly. Her long earrings swayed as she turned to face her daughter, the faint scent of her citrus perfume filling the space between them. "Your father was a math genius before we got married. He told me himself how he used to tutor his classmates. That's why I say this is on him," Mrs. Eno said. Mercy looked away and folded her arms tighter. "Well, I still don't want to tutor." "Would you rather rewrite JAMB?" Mrs. Eno asked her. "I didn't say that," Mercy replied, giving her mother a side eye that translated to, "Really? Mrs.
Eno stayed poised.
What grade did you get in your SSC math?" Mercy's voice was defensive. "I got a C." "With help," her mother interjected. "I know how much expo was flying around in that hall during your exam. And even with that, all you managed was a C." Mercy shifted, her confidence dropping along with her gaze. The quiet hum of the air conditioner punctuated the silence. "I'm not betting on luck for this JAMB," Mrs. Eno continued. "If you'd scored even 40 in math last year, your overall score would have been above 200. You'd have gotten admission and be studying accounting by now, just as you wanted." Mercy said nothing. Her mom's words were not cruel. They were just true, and that made them sting more. "You've got 5 months," her mom said, more softly now. "Even if you'll get help in the hall again, which I don't encourage, I still want you prepared enough to pass on your own." Mercy remained quiet. The room felt heavy with truth. A wall clock ticked faintly above the bookshelf, adding a slow rhythm to the tension. Then Mrs. Eno placed a hand gently on her daughter's shoulder. Her tone shifted. "I'm not forcing anything on you, Mimi. I'll only ever do what I believe is right by you. I'm explaining this so you understand, not so you feel cornered. This needs to be your choice." Mercy's arms dropped from across her chest, and she let out a long sigh. "I really wanted to do this on my own, Mum." "I know, and I believe you can," her mother said with a soft smile. Then she added warmly, "Your intelligence is evident, just like your beauty. You're sharp and you're stunning, but no one has it all. That's why we seek help when we need it." The compliment caught Mercy slightly off guard, and a smile tugged at her lips. "Thanks, Mum. I understand." Her mum stood, brushing her hand along Mercy's shoulder once more. The fabric of her gown flowed gently as she turned toward the door. 2 weeks. Show me progress, or we try another path." Mercy watched her mum leave the room, the conversation looping through her mind. The door creaked softly behind her mother, then settled shut with a gentle click. Her eyes shifted to her study desk. Her books were already laid open. Mathematics again. Use of English, economics, government. All lined up neatly beside it, and none of the three as troublesome. But only math stared back like an unsolved riddle. A gust of wind slipped in through the window, flipping a few pages in her textbook. She walked over slowly, her slippers whispering against the tiled floor. She didn't plan to study at this hour. It was hours past her regular schedule, but something inside nudged her. Determination. A part of Mercy wanted to prove to her mom that she could indeed conquer this mathematics without assistance. Mercy had done a lot for herself in the past. At every turn, Mrs. Eno had shown Mercy trust and belief in her. That trust, and the good measure of freedom she had been given, continually spurred Mercy's desire to make her proud. Living in a large home and lacking for nothing, Mercy has every financial and moral support she could need or want in order to succeed in her studies and her future career. Mrs. Eno is making sure of that. In the duplex that is Mercy's home, she has a luxurious room all to herself, any dress she desires, and a constant flow of cash from her mother to cater for her day-to-day needs. Mercy's life is that of a princess living in a castle, only she is not a princess, but a girl surrounded by wealth, ready to experience life at its fullest while doing her best to live rightly and build a better future for herself. Hence, as much as Mercy enjoys having fun and living the girly life, she still listens to good advice. Even after separating from her husband, Mrs. Eno commands a multi-million naira business empire. At age 41, she sits as CEO of Eno Trill Shopping Mall, a complex that generates in excess of 5 million naira daily. She also inherited Eno Home Hotels and Resorts, indirectly managed by a 5-member board of trustees. Despite her corporate life, Mrs. Eno is not one to restrict herself to business formalities. She structures her schedule to make time for social life, taking at least a 1-week vacation every 2 months and traveling wherever she wishes. As if passed down to her daughter, she lives life at its fullest while ensuring that what's good and important remains paramount. And so, for Mercy and her mother, life is about what they want and the amount of physical and mental effort they are willing to commit to achieve it. Funds for their needs and wants are never a problem. Mercy pulled out the foldable chair from beneath her wooden reading table and sat down, shifting slightly to get comfortable. The chair creaked faintly beneath her weight, and the metal legs scraped softly against the tiled floor. All her past question textbooks were spread out neatly across the desk, their dog-eared corners and colorful covers giving away how frequently she'd been flipping through them lately. She reached for the mathematics booklet first, its shiny cover almost intact, showing rare usage. She flipped it open. A soft rustle followed as the pages settled, exposing a chapter she'd been studying for over a week now. Inequalities. She scanned the first example on the page. 5 is greater than 1 plus x, she read quietly to herself. Find the range of x. Her eyes followed the lines of working out, tracing each mathematical move until the answer appeared. X is less than 4. She murmured, lifting her chin slightly. This one is not really difficult. A small grin tugged at the corner of her lips. For a moment, confidence filled her. Maybe she could actually figure this out. She turned the page. The next example was longer. Her eyes narrowed. 33 minus 11x is less than or equal to 121 plus 44x, she read. Her brows furrowed. The numbers stretched across the page like soldiers in formation. She tried to follow, but her mind wavered halfway. She could see the start and the final answer, x greater than or equal to minus 8 over 5, but everything in between looked like a foreign language. She leaned forward, elbow on the table, chin resting in her palm. Why did it become greater than in the final answer? She muttered, confused. She reread the steps slowly. There was no clarity. She sat back and sighed. The window beside her desk was slightly open. A soft breeze slipped through, causing a few loose papers on the edge of her table to flutter lazily. One nearly slipped off. She caught it quickly, tucked it back under her math book, and reached for her laptop. The device had been in sleep mode. As she opened the lid, the screen lit up, the desktop icons blinking into view. She double-clicked the Chrome icon, clicked on the ChatGPT bookmark, and in seconds, the AI interface loaded. She typed in the exact question from the past question booklet and hit enter. The explanation began to unfold. Mercy leaned in. Line after line, the breakdown rolled in. But instead of clarity, It only stirred more confusion. There were too many words, too many references to things she wasn't sure she remembered. "I just want to understand it," she mumbled, frowning. "Why is this so hard?" Her phone buzzed beside her. A soft vibration across the wooden surface broke her concentration. She glanced over. A WhatsApp notification blinked at her. It was Anna. "Mimi, what's up? I'm out for training. Coming today." Mercy tapped out a reply. "On my way, girl. Just looking through some past questions. JAMB in sight, you know." She closed her laptop gently. "I'll get back to you," she whispered to it, as if promising the device it wasn't being abandoned. The past question booklet still lay open in front of her. The numbers on the page stared back like a challenge yet to be overcome. Mercy reached for a hair tie from the drawer, gathered her long ponytail, and tied it into a neat knot behind her head. Then she stood, the hem of her top swaying slightly with the movement. She reached for her waist bag and began changing into her sportswear, a white sports top with shorts and her favorite black joggers. As she walked past her wardrobe mirror, she caught her reflection. She paused. Her eyes lingered on her face. She didn't look tired, but she didn't look ready either. Mercy turned to leave the room, but stopped when she heard soft footsteps approaching. Mercy moved to her door and opened it slightly, revealing her mum standing there, dressed in a simple gown, a phone in one hand and a mild smile on her face. "You're going out?" Mrs. Eno asked, gently resting her back on the door frame. Her long earrings shimmered faintly under the evening sun rays filtering into the bedroom. Mercy nodded. "Training. Anna is already out." "Dinner is by 7, Mrs. Eno reminded her. "Don't come back late like last time." "I'm not eating alone tonight. I'll be home before then," Mercy said, stepping out of her room. She adjusted her shorts slightly as a breeze slipped through the corridor windows, lifting the hem just a bit. "All right then. Be safe, Mimi," her mother added, her voice carrying a mix of firmness and care as she turned and walked down the hallway. Mercy watched her for a second before turning toward the stairway. Her footsteps echoed faintly across the polished tiles, and the scent of jollof rice floated from the kitchen, faint but inviting. She reached for the front door, zipped up her waist bag, and stepped into the late afternoon light. The training facility built on 10,000 square meter ground houses 2 standard volleyball courts, 2 standard lawn tennis courts, a badminton, and 4 table tennis spots. The various courts are separated by wire fence standing at 5 meters high, and the entire facility is surrounded by a combination of a wire fence and block fence. Also, at the entrance of the facility is a one-room apartment designated for the security. Mercy and her friend, Anna, stood on one side of the court as the volleyball game continued. They had arrived a bit late and wasn't included in any of the teams. However, to play volleyball isn't the primary reason Mercy particularly had left home. "Check out this girl?" Anna called on Mercy's attention as she scrolled on her WhatsApp. "That douchebag now wants to talk," Anna said, handing her iPhone to Mercy to read a chat between she and her boyfriend. "After how many weeks?" Mercy asked rhetorically, expecting no answer as she took the phone from Anna. Can you imagine? Anna's expression was one of jest, and she placed her arms akimbo on her waist, watching as Mercy skimmed through the chat. Mercy continued reading for like 20 seconds, then suddenly scoffed as she read a particular line that held her attention. "Really? That you like acting like a bitch?" "I am the one looking for a boyfriend, as you can see," Anna said, her expression almost saying. "Blame me for that." Mercy continued reading for another 10 seconds before returning the phone to Anna. I don't think that your boyfriend understands what it means to really talk. I wonder how you ended up with that guy. Don't worry, babe, Anna said. I know what I'll do. We'll meet, and then I'll give him a shocker. Anna slotted the phone into her waist bag. How can you be asking to meet up to talk after ignoring someone for 2 full months and still be blaming the person for the reason why you ignored her? The first and second weeks, I called you severally, but you never picked or returned the calls. Chatted you up on 3 occasions. Each time you'll see my message, but never reply. Anna's face was almost twitching in anger. Maybe he thinks I'm stupid. That's why he'd afford to shut me out for more than a month only to come to my DM 2 days ago, requesting that we meet to talk, and somehow still blames me for it. Mercy, seeing how agitated her friend was getting, grabbed her palms. Calm down, babe. I was there, remember? I don't want you getting upset ever again over him. Mercy pulled Anna close and hugged her. He is a stupid boy and doesn't actually deserve a cute girl like you. Mercy and Anna have been friends since their senior secondary school. Both girls met in their SS2. Anna lives with her uncle and his 15-month wife, while her parents live in Europe. Her uncle owns and manages several petrol stations and a large poultry farm. Being a young husband who is yet to have children, his life still revolved around his business. Anna started living with her uncle for years before he got married. Being someone that had lived long enough with him, it was easier for her to have as much freedom to do most of what she likes and when she wants. When Mercy and Anna met 3 years ago, it wasn't all rosy. The 2 teenagers noticed each other as they always showed off the best items that they've got. Being 2 girls from rich homes, they always stood out in terms of hairstyle, dressing, wristwatch, backpack, whatever it is they needed to look as good as they want. It wouldn't take long before they discovered that they both live in the same city. Being that Mrs. Eno and her husband are separated, Mercy was also separated from her 2 siblings who chose to stay with their dad. The 2 girls would come to discover that they share a lot in common. Alone with no immediate siblings around, rich guardians, same age, and occupy the same social class. As time went by, they grew closer, and in less than a year they became best friend. However, while Mercy is conservative, more sensitive, and a bit reserved, Anna has a high and lively spirit doused in sanguine personality. Hence, while Anna could share every bit of her life and adventure with Mercy before thinking, Mercy is empathetically selective about the things she shares with Anna. In their friendship, Mercy instinctively plays the guiding role, while Anna holds nothing back about how she feels about anything. Nevertheless, amongst many other things they share in common, living life and enjoying their young age was at the top of it. Now in the volleyball court, as they held each other in embrace for almost a minute, Anna softly said, "I am breaking up with him." Mercy, on hearing that, tightened her hug around Anna and whispered back, "If that's what you want, I'll fully support you, girl. You deserve someone that will be available for you." "Thank you," Anna said before they ended the hug. "By the way, girl, I have a pressing need from home," Mercy said to Anna, shifting the subject of their discussion. "My mom is threatening to get me a JAMB tutor to assist me with mathematics if I do not improve in 2 weeks. "Oh dear, mathematics shackles finally caught up with you," Anna said almost jokingly. "Let me guess, that didn't sit well with you." "Not at all. I do not like the idea at all," Mercy emphasized, her facial expression even more contextual. "I've been trying to crack that demon since SS1, but it still eludes me." "But you got C in mathematics in SSC exam," Anna reminded Mercy. Oh, babe, don't even go there, Mercy almost cautioned her. You and I know exactly how that mathematics exam went down. We were practically lost until that expo arrived in the hall. They both let out a loud, knowing laugh. Then Mercy continued, Mom even used it against me, said she doesn't want to count on that this time. Well, she is right, Anna said, her demeanor accepting the maturity of Mercy's mom's decision. So, what do you intend to do about it? Babe, I'm trying to study up on my own, see how much I could improve, Mercy said, her countenance revealing the frustration in that effort. But honestly, girl, it's actually frustrating. I can't still understand a thing. That's serious, Anna added. Seriously, I'm almost wishing I don't have to write mathematics like you. You are so lucky, Mercy said, as she now shifted and sat on the tiled floor of the court. Anna followed her friend's cue and sat next to her. So, do you think you should consider the JAMB tutor? I don't know, Anna. In fact, right now, that's not an option for me. Mercy's voice was almost emphatic. I'll just have to keep trying. I'll get it. I still have enough time. Should there be ones that give me too much tough time, I'll just ask for assistance from any of our former colleagues. I think that works, Anna said, her support palpable in those words. That's almost like having a tutor already. The two girls sat in silence for a moment before Coach Edmund ended the first round of the volleyball. The coach called on both of them to come up and join the next round. Hey, babe, we are up, Anna tapped Mercy, standing up from where they sat. No, babe, I'm not playing actually, Mercy remained seated. I just wanted to come out here 'cause I didn't want to stay in that big house any longer this evening. Besides, I'll be leaving soon to go see. You know. Michael. Anna completed the sentence and let out a small chuckle. Enjoy, girl. Wish that big had paid me more attention like your boyfriend. Don't worry, you don't deserve such less treatment from any guy, Mercy replied, and watched her walk off to join the rest of the volleyball players. Mercy thought about the little issues she and Michael had yesterday night, the silent treatment they had meted on each other during the day. Time got her angry. We could go half a day without talking to each other, but anything beyond a full day, that's call for an emergency, she thought to herself. Pulling out her Samsung phone, Mercy opened her WhatsApp and tapped on her boyfriend icon. She could see that he was online and wondered for a flipping second if he could be talking to another girl. She brushed the unhealthy thought aside before it pushes her to begin imagining a fictitious girl elsewhere, possibly dragging her man with her. She dropped her finger on the audio icon, dragged the icon up to lock it in place. Hey boo, Mercy began. I'll be on my way soon. Just dropped in at the court, but didn't actually want to play. Hope you'll be home before I get there. I wouldn't want to have to explain to your dad again who I am without you around. See you soon. She tapped on the send icon, followed by a heart emoji. Out of curiosity, she stayed on his DM to see how long it was going to take him to acknowledge her chat. Then, like the rush of a heartbeat, the gray icon turned blue, followed by heart emoji, and then a message that read, All right, horny bum, I am actually home already, waiting for you. Mercy's heart melted as the messages popped up. Instantly, she rose from where she was now sitting alone. She took a quick peek at the court and saw Anna engrossed in the game with the ball in her hand to serve. As she made her way out, she followed the longer side of the court in order to wave her goodbye to Anna. It took Mercy roughly 10 minutes to get to Michael's residence. It wasn't the short distance that hastened her movements, but the desire to be with him. Rarely, his father wasn't around today. In fact, it was only Michael and his little sister that were around. Even better, the little sister was asleep in her room. You arrived fast. It is barely 15 minutes since we chatted, Michael said as he led her into his room, his hands resting on her hips. Worried I may have caught you with another girl? Mercy joked, unstrapping the waist bag and dropping on his bed. Babe, at this point, I might think you'd want me to cheat so that you'd have a valid point with this your usual insinuation, Michael replied, sitting next to her on the bed. Mercy scuffed, like you aren't already doing that. Michael just laughed, the girlfriend's last words striking a number of chords in his memory. Babe, you always say this, like you've caught me with another girl before. Really? Mercy crossed her arms on her chest, shifting inside the bed and resting on the wall. Like I have to do that? So, what happened yesterday? Throughout yesterday, you neither called nor messaged me. Dad took me to the site, Michael tried to explain. And there was no network in the tunnel where the site was located. Mercy jabbed at him, setting up a tiny trap, her arms still across her chest. No, not that. I wasn't even with the phone all through our visit, Michael replied. You were online around 10:23 a.m., 12:15 p.m., and 2 p.m., Mercy declared to him. Probably talking to the more important girls, 'cause obviously I wasn't important enough to be checked up on. Michael knew that at this point, Mercy was simply looking for an apology for yesterday. Sorry, love. I was just too busy with Dad at the site, he said, a small laughter escaping his lips. Mercy watched as Michael laughed, noticing that he neither denied nor confirmed his light accusation of talking to other girls. However, that wasn't her reason for coming over to visit her boyfriend. Also, she wasn't ready to start digging if truly he's been talking to other girls. Can I get a glass of water? I am thirsty. Sure, Michael replied, already pulling open the side fridge and producing a bottle of water from it. Here, it's not very chilled. There hasn't been power supply since this afternoon. He handed the bottle to her. Thank you, Mercy said, already opening the bottle and gulping half of the water. So, what did you bring for your boo this cool evening? Michael asked, drawing closer to Mercy. You wish. Mercy jokingly sneered at him. Don't tell me that, hottie. Michael flirted with her. You think I didn't notice what your white top is doing to those girls on your chest? Really? What is it doing to them? She was instinctually and slowly getting turned on by Michael's flirtatious words. It's like they are calling me to talk to them. Play with them, he said, stroking Mercy's bare laps with his palm. I see you have plans. Lover boy, Mercy said, animatedly lifting Michael's palm from her laps and moving it back to the bed top. I have a challenge. Mercy's demeanor shifted to seriousness. What troubles my queen? Michael asked coyishly, still yet to adjust to the seriousness of his girlfriend's concern. You know I'll be writing JAMB this year, and I am having issues with mathematics, Mercy began. I've been trying to figure a bunch of the topics and how to handle the questions, but they are very elusive. This afternoon, I was going through the past questions trying to solve some examples. I just couldn't. They are so difficult to understand, Mercy concluded, crawling into Michael's arms. I'm not sure I've ever heard you complain about any subject giving you tough time, Michael said. He was beginning to understand that Mercy's concern is rather serious to her. Michael? That's because you've not really been listening any time I have issues like this. Mercy's expression hardened, a bit of frustration fluttering over her face, but her voice remained soft. I'm sure you wouldn't remember how I got through with mathematics in my SSC. I do, Michael quickly replied. You do? Mercy stared up on his face. Tell me, what was my grade in mathematics then? Michael hesitated for a moment, digging through his brain for an answer he doesn't have. Come on, babe. Does it matter? What matters is that you made it through. Mercy sighed, her shoulders slouching down in slight disappointment as she lowered her face. You obviously don't remember. I'm sorry, love, but you know that you've told me so many things. Honestly, I'm not able to keep up with all of them, Michael tried to explain. But the slight disappointment in Mercy's face was unmissable. Mercy thought about asking him if he remembers the name of the secondary school she attended, but decided against it. She was pretty certain he wouldn't remember that too. Michael saw the slight change in Mercy's countenance and knew she was getting slightly upset. His inability to pay full attention to her when they are having important discussion was about to backfire, but somehow Michael has a way of walking around that. Hey, sweetie. Michael's voice was soft and melancholic, the type that Mercy always found hard to resist. What? Mercy's voice was soft with a touch of sadness in it. Don't get upset now that you've come to visit me over something in the past, Michael began. What we should be discussing are things that concerns today and tomorrow. I just need you to be more attentive when I'm telling you things important to me, Mercy nearly pleaded, the baby girl in her completely obvious in her voice. It's fine, sweetie. I assure you I'll improve on that, Michael said, cupping her face in his palms. Promise? Mercy asked, the atmosphere in the room gradually growing sensual. I cross my heart, Michael replied as he brushed his lips over Mercy's. You know I love you. I know, Mercy said, her breath coming shallow. Michael pulled her face in and wrapped her lips with his. Gradually, Mercy adjusted her body to face him fully as she kissed him back. Michael pressed her to his chest, the curvy outline of her breast taking up a full space on his chest, and he enjoyed it. One thing that had attracted him to Mercy was the endowment on her chest, and he never misses any opportunity to have them. Mercy's body tensed up as the kiss continued to go deeper, their tongues entangling each other in utmost pleasure. The veins on Mercy's chest were pumping more blood, and her laps becoming more sensitive with each passing sound of kiss. Then, gradually, she lifted her two arms and placed them on Michael's should as his palms grabbed her butts and continued to press her to his chest. Lifting her arms now. Take it off. 5 minutes later into their romantic session, Michael felt Mercy's palms grab his wrist as he tried to move it up her bare laps.
No. Wait, she said.
Somehow, she had been able to reserve a level of rational thinking even as the pleasures of Michael's palms and lips round the tips of her breast engulfed her. Why, sweetie? We are already into it. Nothing should be stopping us now, Michael quizzed. Apparently his moves have been halted unexpectedly. You know I'm not ready yet for that for us, Mercy said gently. The moaning subsiding, the moment gradually fading down. We've been dating for quite some time now, sweetie, Michael said, his wrists still held by Mercy's palms, the tips of her breasts still staring back at him eye level. I know, Mercy replied, pulling away from him as she released his wrist. She groped the bed for her top and placed them above her chest, sealing the two big fleshy apples from sight. My body isn't ready for that yet. I'm sorry. Michael sighed heavily, slumping down on the bed. With his head on the pillow, he gazed up on the ceiling. His thoughts swirled. It's been 3 months since they started dating. This would be the umpteenth time that Mercy would turn him down any time they found themselves in the heat of romance. Worse, each next moment always feels like this would finally be the time he'll taste the juicy lips in between her legs, But just as he would knock on the door, Mercy pulls away. He was almost getting frustrated, but somehow he keeps biding his time. Mercy stared at him from the corner of her eyes. She could feel the frustration on his face. Deep down, she wasn't sure if she wanted to give it to him. Every time, every scene, it always felt not right. Even after 3 months of them dating, a part of Mercy keeps feeling something is still missing. Mercy's mind tracked back minutes ago. She had just told him that she's having issues understanding mathematics, but Michael hadn't actually stayed on that topic, let alone offered any solution or advice. A part of Mercy's mind hardened, and she groped the bed again for her brazier. Strapping the pinky sexy fabric over the 2 fleshy apples, she informed him, "Mom is considering getting me a mathematics tutor to help me out." Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing to our channel and get notified once the next episode comes out. See you soon.